Hi, John Mortensen, owner and operator of PetDoorStore.com, and today I'm going to show you the Pride Pet Door and the screen adapter that you can buy to go with it. So the Pride Pet Door is a less expensive option. It's not the most weather-tight pet door, but you don't need that because you're putting it into a screen. Fairly durable. It has this black rubber flap on it. So the black rubber flap is kind of interesting in that if your pets go one way, the center part of the flap moves. And if they go in the opposite direction, then both parts of the flap move. The flap is made from recycled tire rubber, and the pet door's been around for maybe 40 years. It's really been around for a long time. It does come in 5 different colors. It comes in silver, white, bronze, it's almost black, black, and tan. And they do have a separate screen adapter to put it into a sliding screen door. It also does come with a trim frame for the other side and a locking cover. Now the locking cover for this door is Masonite. Now if you're familiar with this material, it's kind of shiny and white on one side, and then it's just kind of a rough press board type of finish on the other side. And that's really what this is. It's just like a compressed cardboard almost. If you're putting this in a screen, if this gets wet, it'll swell up and you won't be able to get it out of the frame, or you'll have to break it to get it out of the frame. So it comes with this, but don't use it is really the ironic recommendation that we give you. If you really want a locking cover, then what you can do is you can go down to the hardware store, or if you have a plastic store in your area, get a material called Lexan. It's L-E-X-A-N. It's what they make race car windows and bulletproof glass from. And that stuff, you can lay this down on top of a sheet of Lexan, trace it out, and cut it with a jigsaw. The stuff cuts super easy with a jigsaw, and then you have one that's, bulletproof. So that's how you get a locking cover to use with the Pride if you want one. Some people say don't use a locking cover on a screen because if you lock it, then the dogs will just tear a hole, right next to the pet door. And so, like the Hale company, for instance, doesn't even offer a locking cover with their screen-mounted unit. Anyway, back to the pet door. So this is the screen adapter. And the way this works is it's got kind of like a U-shaped channel on the side and the bottom. So what you do is you plug this into the corner of the screen, and you can do it on either side. There's a place for the screen to spline in on this side and on this side, so it can go in the left or the right-hand corner. And then the pet door frame actually screws onto this. Fits right in. Oh, I got it upside down, but you can see it fits right into that opening. And it screws right on there. So that's essentially how that works. I've got a sliding screen door here. I'm gonna show you that in a little more detail. But that's essentially what you need to know. So you'll take your inside frame and your outside frame, screw them together right through the pet door adapter here, and there you go. Now another thing that's interesting about this door in particular is that it's not what they call self-framing. So a self-framing pet door, if I held up the inside and outside frames, there would be a little tunnel section that connects the two. The reason for that is if you're putting this in a hollow core door, water and dirt, whatever else, isn't going to drop into the door and ruin the door over time. But those self-framing doors do not go well onto sheet metal. Like the kick plate on a screen door would be a perfect example of where this pet door is a lot easier to install than a traditional one because it doesn't have any thickness to it. So literally, you can just screw it together through the 1/16 of an inch thick aluminum panel, and that's fine. Pet door doesn't mind that at all. A lot of the other ones, you need to do a build out or some other workaround, cut the frame down on the pet door or something like that in order to make it work. But this one's really easy for that. It'll also work in a thin piece of plywood or something like that, but usually for screen people, we're talking about the kick plate on a swinging screen door or a sliding screen door. If you want to put this on a lanai, like a pool cage for those people in Florida and all that, you can do it with this adapter, but what you have to do is you have to cut one of the legs off of this U-shaped piece so that instead of sliding over the edge of the frame, it just rests on the edge of the frame, and then you could screw it in. So you'd want to go, typically the screen's on the outside, so if you wanted it in the right corner on the outside, what you would do is you would cut off this lip here, and then you'd set it on there on the corner, and then where it covered over the existing screen frame, you'd screw it in. So that is possible to do. If you don't want to do that, there's another pet door called the Hale, and they make a screen version that'll fit onto any thickness frame. So if you're not handy and don't have the materials to cut this, just buy the Hale pet door. All right, I'm going to change the camera around a little bit, or get the sliding screen frame in the shot, and I'll show you how this adapter hooks up to it. I'll be right back. Okay, so this is the Pride screen adapter installation, kind of briefly summarized. If you watched my other screen videos, you probably remember my sliding screen door, which I use for everything. So I've pulled the spline out. This rubber spline is what holds the screen into the frame, and there's a spline on every side of the screen there. So I pulled it out, and we just pull back the screen mesh, take the adapter. I'm just going to slide it through the bottom here, and literally, oh, I was going to show you. This has a U-shaped channel on the side and on the bottom here. And that is what's going to slide over the screen frame. So if I stick it in here, put it in the corner, and just give it a little pull. There you go. Now it's in there. So you need to screw this in. And if you've never put screws or tried to drill holes into metal before, it could be a little tricky. If you take a drill and you put it on here and pull the trigger, the drill bit's just going to walk all over the place, and it's going to make a nasty hole, if it makes a hole at all. So the trick is you get yourself a nail and take a hammer and you give it a good whack, and it'll put a little dent in there. And then you can put your drill bit on that, and it'll go straight through. It won't wobble around at all. So you're going to put, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 holes down the side here, 3 or 4 across the bottom, and screw it in. And now this thing is attached to the frame really sturdily on those 2 sides. You put your spline back in, trim off the extra. The pet door itself comes with its own spline channel. So you'll spline in the screen on the other 2 sides here, and then just trim off the extra screen. This part you just throw in the trash. And then, like I showed you before, the pet door just fits right into this adapter and screws right to it. So this is a really easy install if you have a 1/2 inch thick or less screen frame. Again, if you have something that's thicker than that, you can modify this to work, or you can buy the Hale pet door, which you don't have to modify at all, and either way works. Another thing that you should know about this one is it's got relatively short heights. So if you have a tall dog, if you have like a Weimaraner or something, this is a large. An extra large is going to be a little bit taller. It'll be like here. It's a 19-inch tall flap. But a Weimaraner might be 28 inches tall. So if you have a 19-inch tall flap that's only maybe 3 inches off the ground, you're going to have like 22 inches to the top of the flap. Your Weimaraner is going to come at this thing, and he'll be 6 inches taller than the top of the flap, and he'll have to crouch to go underneath. And that's like it's almost like a limbo move for dogs. So it's not a very comfortable move, especially when they get older and arthritic. So if you have a taller dog like that, that's another reason to look at the other products that we offer, because we'll have some taller, skinnier sizes that can be close to the ground and yet tall enough to accommodate those real lanky dogs. All right, that's it. Again, you can contact me by phone, 866-377-3667. Email sales@petdoorstore.com, or if you're on the website, if you hit that chat button, it goes to me. So if I'm around and I can get it, I will get it. And I do that pretty much anytime I'm awake and have a computer available. so give me a shot even off hours, and you'll with any luck, I'll be around and you'll be able to ask me your question. Thanks very much for watching.